WNBA into NBA. Summer League's happening, which Rick doesn't give a bleep about.
Nope.
But Tom and myself, we enjoy it.
Right.
Okogie, do you know what? Is it Okogie or Okogie? Because I've heard both ways.
I think it's Okogie.
Okogie, okay. I think it's Okogie too. He's second on the team in scoring, 11 points per game. His defense has been sick, 2.3 steals, 2 blocks per game. He's not shooting great, 30%.
No.
He's getting some rebounds, 5.5, assists, 2.5. Hasn't dominated.
Right.
But, what does Summer League even mean? Bates Diop has been good. He's leading the team in scoring, 15 points per game, 8.5 boards, barely an assist. He's shooting 38%. So, an interesting point I heard, I was listening to Zach Lowe's podcast, and he said, it's a crazy style of play. It's really fast, and all the dudes are trying to make teams, and so the defense is insane.
Yeah.
And so as a whole, it's a really hard league to score and a lot of effort being put forward. Whereas the NBA, it's 82 games and you got a lot of veterans. They're not giving it 100% every single game.
Wait, they're not?
Yeah, right. And then shout out
That's not true.
My boy from Duke, Emil Jefferson, who was mostly in the G League last year. He's third on the team in scoring, but he's averaging, I think he's second in the whole Summer League in rebounds per game. He's averaging about 9.5 points per game. Tom, how much stock do you put into Summer League?
You can't put in too much, but it's always fun to see players do well. I remember, probably 3 or 4 years ago now, Tyus Jones
MVP?
went off in Summer League. So,
and how's his NBA career been since that Summer League season?
Okay, Rick, glass half
Well,
empty.
I mean, who's the all-time leader in preseason passing yards in the NFL?
Christian Ponder.
Oh, God. Right to the heart. No, that's true. Well, Rick, since you interjected, what's your boy Wendell Carter's been good, so you think he's just going to be a bust? You think he's just going to suck?
Oh, he's going to be an all-star. What do you mean? He's killing it in the Summer League. Guys, this is real stuff we're talking about here. No, I mean, right, it's cool to watch because this is your first glimpse of these players that, we have stock in, personal stock of, caring about our franchises. But I think it's just, it's good to see them do well, but we overreact when they don't do well. Like Trae Young. He had like those 2 air balls, right, in his first Summer League game, and then he goes and hits 7 threes in his last game.
Yep.
Right.
So what are we doing?
Right.
I think it's fun to see them in the jersey. I think it's fun to see when the matchups are good. It's fun to see. Like there's
just so much coverage of it.
Yeah,
like they have all the games on ESPN2. They on the ticker screens now. When you're watching a sport game, you can see the Summer League scores. A lot of stock invested in it.
Yeah. The NBA is like a 10-month season now.
It is.
I mean, they have.
It's almost beating the NFL with how much it's covered throughout the year.
Right, and the free agency thing.
Yeah, NBA summer free agency is some of the best time, most entertaining part of the NBA.
It is.
In some people's views, because a lot of people don't watch like we do.
Well, and it's really the only league, too, where the players decide their outcomes more than GMs and owners and things like that. Whereas the NFL, no. MLB, no. And NBA, the players really decide where they play. And so, it's an interesting league. It is covered all the time. I can't really watch. I only watch when the picks, because on these rosters, there's only 2 or 3 guys that matter. So to Ricky's point, it's kind of fake basketball. But at the same time, I think it's telling as to maybe how a guy handles the pressure when there are coaches, when there are, a Jerry West is watching you play, as opposed to, a guy maybe played for Memphis or San Diego State. And, those college teams aren't pulling in crazy crowds of crazy people. Because I think that is one of the, you talk about NFL preseason, that's one of the big changes. The Joe Flacco's or the Ben Roethlisbergers that didn't play at huge colleges, and then they get into the NFL and those stadiums and that environment, and they just crumble. So I think you put a little bit of weight into it, but to your guys' point.
Well, it's cool to see on Twitter, too, like highlights, right? You can see. And that's the only way I know anything about NBA Summer League is because of Twitter.
Right. And one thing I will say about Okogie and KBD, two
KBD.
Nice.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
Cool little name.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, let's get it started. I think they're both Tibbs guys.
Okay.
What I've seen, I haven't watched all 4 games. There's no way I'd do that. But from what I've seen, a little bit I've watched is, both players are hustling. They both got crazy, big wingspans they can cover. Okogie can probably cover the 1, 2, and 3.
Yep, I would agree.
So, it's good to see them hustle. It's good to see them, rack up those highlight blocks and hustle on defense, I'm sure. the head coach will remember that when the season.
Yeah, and Tibbs has got to have certain players. That's why he's bringing back Taj and Derrick
You heard
Rose,
the Noah
Jimmy
rumors,
Butler.
and it's interesting. But for a second-round pick, I do think KBD will get
I thought they were gonna get him in the
lot
first
of
round.
minutes this year, potentially. No, exactly to your point. I said on last week's podcast, I think that there were a lot of mocks that had us taking him at 20 instead of, I think we got him at 48 then. So, Summer League, we spit you some stats, whatever. Summer League's good. I like it. Take a look. Again, people are saying that Bagley's a bust because he's averaging, I think, 10 and 10, which is not bad. So,
He's got some cool shoes, though. He's got Puma shoes. Have you seen those?
That's
Yeah.
right.
And
No,
Puma
are they
hasn't done a
sick?
basketball shoe since, I don't know,
Couple
the
rookies,
90s.
I think.
Yeah.
Do they look
They're
legit?
sweet.
I mean, they actually
look better
look
than the
good?
Steph Curry shoes.
Yeah,
I'll
we
say
don't like
that.
those. We don't like to talk about those. All right, that's dribbling a basketball. Now let's go to hitting a baseball. MLB. It's the All-Star break. But it's the H-Run Derby, Rick. We got a little tipsy-dipsy at Station 280 last year watching the Derby. Watched your boy Miguel Sano lose to Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I had Sano winning it all, and because you could do the bracket challenge online on MLB.com. Mm-hmm. It was a homer pick.
Just some stats.
He didn't make it this year, did he?
No. We'll go
Maybe
over.
the single A home run derby. I'm not sure. Cheap shot.
Another dig by Tommy D. Ken Griffey, only 3-time champ ever, and the only other repeating champions, Prince Fielders won it twice, and Cespedes went
Yoenis.
back-to-back. Or else it's been one and dones. Justin Morneau won one. Torrey Hunter
He beat,
failed. Joe Mauer failed.
Morneau beat,
Josh Hamilton.
yes, Josh Hamilton.
I love how you just flexed, and I knew who you were talking about.
He wasted all his energy in the second round or something like that.
Yeah, did he set a record? Or
He
Yeah,
did.
32? Was
And
it
he had like his
32 home
70-year-old
runs?
math teacher throwing to him, and he threw his arm out. He couldn't even throw in the final round. I think he had to take Cano's dad or something. But this year, Harper's in it.
And
Max-
Harper said that he tweeted earlier saying, hey, if I make the All-Star team, I will play in the home run derby.
And now he's in. So he's in. Max Muncy, who I didn't even, and I do fantasy baseball. I mean, I'm pretty plugged into baseball.
Yeah,
I didn't even know who this guy
For
was.
the Dodgers.
He's got 21 bombs. Harper's got 22. Your boy Javier's in there with 18.
Let's go.
Schwarbs is in there with 17. Rice Hoskins is the low man with 14 bombs. Freddie Freeman, jack of all trades Freeman, 16. Jesus Aguilar,
Yeah,
23.
he's the number one seed.
He's
Sure is.
He
the
has the
betting
most home
odds
runs in
favorite.
the National League.
And then Alex Bregman, who didn't even hit 19 home runs for me last year at all on my fantasy team, already has 19 at the break. We'll go clockwise. Rick, who do you got?
Winning it all?
Yeah, that's what the question says.
We'll go Bryce Harper. Let's go.
B. Harps.
Wow.
Okay.
Over 2 Cubbies.
Yeah.
I actually can't believe you just said that's blasphemy.
Well, okay, who do you think I'm going to win? Like, who I think is going to win is Bryce Harper. But
Okay,
who do I
Ricky
want
being
to win?
objective. I support it. Tom, your pick.
You know what? I'm going to go with my boy Jesus Aguilar, number 1
Milwaukee.
seed.
Did you vote for Jesus in the vote-in?
I did.
Good for you, man.
That campaign was awesome.
That was a good campaign by the
Yeah,
Brewers.
They did a good job. But the dude's, he's going on the hot streak of all hot streaks of his career, and I think that carries over.
I support it.
And then if he tanks in the second half, he can just blame the home run derby.
Okay.
Right.
I was leaning towards Bryce, but since Ricky,
You can double up.
no.
Bryce is a Showtime player.
I'm gonna go. I want to go Javi, but his swing is just too crazy to, I think, consistently drop bombs. I'm going Schwarbs, big body guy, limber, some nice muscles. He's toned up this year. His conditioning's great.
A lot
Left-handed
of grilled
hitter,
chicken.
simple swing, and I think he's got easy power. So
Is
I'm
there
going
a short
Schwarbs.
porch at in Washington?
It's in Washington. Doesn't even matter. I just don't even care. That's the Derby. And now let's talk a little bit of Twins because we're nearing the halfway point. Tom, it's the trade deadline. If you were a genie in the bottle, what do you think the Twins do?
Well, one name is getting thrown out there for like the 7th consecutive year, and that's Brian Dozier.
Yep. And he's finally heating up. I think he has 3 bombs in his last 4 games.
He always heats
something
up
like that.
I
know, the timing's perfect.
Right? When he makes the turn.
He always does. I looked it up because he's been having kind of a down season. He's
Mm-hmm.
he's hitting 229, getting on base 31% of the time. Nothing great, but his power numbers are pretty similar to the pre All-Star
Really?
break
Okay.
of years past. Last year he had, or right now he has 15. Last year he had 14 at this time, or
Okay.
no, 13, and then 2016 he had 14. So his power numbers are actually pretty consistent, and he always goes on that crazy second half run, which doesn't bode well if you're trying to sell him high at the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
But his contract's up at the end of the year, as is Eduardo Escobar.
And that's what sucks. He kind of loses value since if you're a team trading for him, you don't, and there's not really sign-in trades in MLB as opposed to NBA. So, yeah, I mean, the time to kind of trade him was this past offseason when the new team maybe could re-up his contract, or last deadline too. I don't know if it makes a bunch of sense now. I don't think he fits on the team going forward with what we have in the farm system and in the big leagues.
Oh,
I don't know.
From a depth perspective.
Yes.
Right? But, I mean, he's a leader in that clubhouse.
Absolutely.
People gravitate around him. He's a great interview, great person. And, yeah, he could carry the squad. He hit the home run to lead off the wild card game.
Yeah.
He's a legend for that,
I was so hyped
That's
about
a big
that.
deal.
And then
they
just got
lost the game, but for those few moments, a lot of people thought the Twins were going to win that game.
That was so disappointing. My God. Yeah, I don't know. And so, I don't know. Whatever. Twins are...
Baseball, it's a break. It's a break. Everybody needs a break.
Twins are 8 games under 500. I believe Cleveland's 8 games over 500. 8.5 games back of them. I don't think we can chase them. I think the real question is, will they hit the over on what it was this year, which was 83 wins, which the Flow bet. We bet the over on that.
Okay.
So we need them to go 84 and 78, and I think they're gonna. So we'll see what happens there. But Rick, as we talked about, we wanted to do NFL season previews leading up to opening week.
Yeah,
We're about 8.5 weeks out. Tip off September 6th, Atlanta, Philly, Thursday night. And so we're doing conference previews. We're starting with the AFC East. And the Patriots, who have won 14 of the last 15. The only year they haven't won is in 2008 when the Dolphins won. It's a good division. The Patriots are $750 favorites, minus $750. You have to bet $750.
Which a lot of people say that's like the safest bet in the NFL right now. Because, I mean, you look, the Bills, 9-7, made the playoffs for the first time since the 90s last year. They've got a brand-new quarterback, Josh Allen, who is supposed to be, the saving grace, right?
Hercules, man.
If he wins the starting job, we'll see what happens. The Bills went 3-3 in the division last year. Do they have a chance to take down the Patriots? The Patriots were first in offense last year, but they were 29th in defense.
Oh, my God.
Second in passing and 10th in rushing, offensive defense stats. So I don't think, when you look at this, the best stat in the division, the Bills were 6th in rushing. That's the highest stat overall for offense, defense, pass rushing, and the rest of the division outside of the Patriots. The Dolphins, they were 25th in offense last year, the Jets 28th, and their defense wasn't good. Dolphins 16th in defense, Jets 25th. Is this the worst division in football?
Well, I think so, because every other division, I think you have at least 2 contenders. I think the Bills, they were 9-7 because they played in this division. I don't think they were because they were that quality of a team. What's interesting is I just got ESPN Plus, and they have this stuff about the draft prospects. Josh Allen and Sam Darnold, who are both now in this division, who will forever be compared to each other because they were both first-round picks, right? They lived and were coached by this. They lived in the same house in California leading up to the draft, and they're coached by Carson Palmer's brother, Jordan Palmer. So really interesting. And so they're friends, and they're going to be playing against each other.
Yeah, twice a year for the next 20 years.
And the Patriots, they lose Brandon Cooks, Pro Bowl wide receiver, very good. Nate Soldier, Pro Bowl tackle, gone. Malcolm Butler, as you would have maybe thought after the Super Bowl, gone. Damian Amendola, who's got an Instagram model wife who's stunning. Just go look that up.
Well,
Trust
he plays for
me.
the Dolphins now.
Plays for the Dolphins. Good, yes. Deion Lewis is gone. Martellus Bennett gone. Shea McClellan gone.
Former Bear. Bad draft pick.
They got Sony Michel, though, from Georgia, the running back. He's going to be a good fantasy guy this year. Potentially. We'll see. He might, but they have James White. They still have Brandon Bolden. They have so many running backs. Rex Burkhead. I don't know. That team's lost.
Tom, would you bet the Patriots to win the division at minus 750?
If it was $7.50, absolutely. I don't know if I'd cough up the full $7.50.
That'd be tough. It's almost, but that's the thing, though. If Tom goes down, they don't got Jimmy Chin back there to back him up anymore. They could slip.
Well, but okay,
are the Bills a good
do the
bet?
Bills have a legitimate chance?
Is this a good? I'm all of a sudden Bet $100 to win 1.2K on the Bills?
Yeah, that's
It's